Hello there my RPG lovers and welcome to another video. In my previous video on the channel I talked about some of the upcoming RPGs that you probably never heard about. And my personal favorite on that list was the game called Forsaken Realms, Exodus Rising. Almost everything that I could see about that game seems really promising. This high fantasy setting fits so well with the art style they're going for, and the gameplay looks really smooth. Exodus Rising is a story-driven action RPG, so naturally we can expect various quests, dialogue options and stuff like that. Now that you have some basic idea of what this game is going for, let's talk about everything we know about it. Exodus Rising is set within the fantasy world called Leda. You play as a mercenary hired by a combined order judge and his guardians to aid them in the journey into the depths of Barathon Forest. There is a character creation option, so you'll be able to customize your character however you want, and I know that will make a lot of people happy. The player will start his journey into the city of Vahrin, which has been abandoned a long time ago. Once you arrive in this city, you'll be free to explore it as you please. However, there are some intentional limitations when it comes to this. The world map in Exodus Rising is semi-open, as described by the developer. So, for example, certain areas within each district of Vahrin will require story progress in order to unlock them. Apart from those mentioned areas, each district has its own stories, which are separate to the main story. And of course, you can find some smaller side quests and jobs to do as well. I can't help myself but think how similar this sounds to first two Gothic games. The city of Corines, for example in Gothic 2, also had an exclusive part of the city that you would need to unlock by doing quests. And it's the prime example how this kind of a game design can reach its full potential if done properly, of course. I'm not saying that Exodus Rising will be another Gothic, so don't hold me accountable for that, please. No, but seriously, it's okay to be excited for new games, but you should always temper your expectations. Anyway, that will be everything we know about the story so far. If we pay close attention to environments in these videos, we can see how that description of semi-open world makes sense. All of these areas are pretty dense, which I really like, but more importantly each area looks immersive and fun to explore. That's exactly how I felt when I watched a couple of these videos. I got the strong urge to explore these locations. And I can tell you right away that doesn't happen very often when I'm watching a YouTube videos about new games. Even a lot bigger studios can really struggle with creating an immersive world, so this really gives me hope for Exodus Rising. Artistically, the game seems to be something in between of realistic and cartoony, which blends so seamlessly with this high fantasy setting. Everything except character models is designed with realism in mind, while still retaining a heavily stylized look to better fit the fantasy setting, I guess. I think this is a great approach to visual design, because smaller studios can't afford to create realistic character models. I mean, even a lot bigger studios can really struggle with this, so it's not a surprise.
Sorry, my face is tired.
And ultimately, a heavily stylized game is almost certain to age better. To summarize the visuals, I really like what I see, and it seems like a lot of people agree with me, judging by the comments from the previous video. Now you might be asking, but C4G, I don't want to just watch this game, I wanna play it. What about the gameplay? Well, my imaginary friend, since you're so interested, let's talk about it. Yeah, I think I'm going crazy. There are a couple of videos where we can see some uninterrupted combat, and I was quite surprised how smooth it actually looks. Especially when it comes to that spinning melee attack, but just in general as well. The sound effects are really important for creating a sense of impact, and they seem pretty decent in Exodus. The only thing we can't know for sure is how the game controls. And if they manage to do a good job on that field as well, we might be getting a pretty solid combat system. When it comes to other features related to combat, Exodus has everything that you would expect to find in an RPG of this type. It has a pretty standard RPG progression system. When you level up, your base stats will increase and you'll get some experience points. You can spend those points into different skill trees to unlock new abilities and skills. Pretty standard stuff, but worth mentioning nonetheless. And speaking of standard stuff, let's talk about customization. When I first saw this video, I immediately fell in love with the armor set that the character is wearing. So yeah, you will discover a range of weapons and armor pieces, which can be mixed and matched to customize your character. It goes deeper than that, of course. You can imbue and upgrade your items to increase their stats and give them bonus effects. Some of the confirmed weapon types are swords, shields, mace, axe, greatswords, great axe, great hammer, and a bow. Besides that, you can learn spells as well, and we can see a couple of spells in action. So pretty much all three basic playstyles that you expect to find in an action RPG are there, and you can mix them however you want as well. Here comes the really interesting part about the world design. As you might know if you play these types of games, there are usually two different ways of handling enemy levels in the world. What became a lot more common in newer RPGs is the level scaling system, where everything is based around player's level. Which basically means that the level of enemies will adjust according to your level, usually to keep the game challenging throughout the whole game. Needless to say that this method has a lot of problems. Actually, both methods have strengths and weaknesses, but I won't get into that. I have a lot of discussions about RPG systems and mechanics on the channel already, so check that out if you're interested. Anyway, Exodus will have two different ways to play the game, and that's why I'm mentioning this. You'll be able to choose between option A and option B. Option A will set enemy levels to scale alongside your own, while option B is the opposite. You'll be able to exceed the level of enemies you encounter. I have no doubts what I'm going to try first, and that's the option B. Although I'm curious about level scaling as well, because these mechanics can feel different from game to game, even though the core philosophy of level scaling is always the same. I'm really glad to see the option to choose between these two different ways to play the game. Adding more ways to customize your gameplay experience is always great. However, this kinda raises some concerns about the balancing and which method will be more optimized. That's left to be seen. I don't know about you, but Exodus kinda reminds me of Outward, and like I said before, there is a little bit of that gothic feel as well. I think it has a strong potential to be a really good RPG all around, and I can't wait to try it out. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do a review for this game when it comes out, so stick around if you want to see that. This video wouldn't be possible without the extra information about the game that I managed to get from one of the developers on Discord, so big thanks for that. If you're new to the channel, I basically do a wide variety of RPG content, from discussions about different mechanics to reviews, tips and guides. And that would be all for this video. Tell me your opinions about Exodus in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more RPG contents. If you want to support the channel in the long run, consider becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You can get your name on the end credits, as well as some other perks like early access to videos, Discord roles, my plans for future content, etc, etc. That will be all, and I'll see you in the next one.